I am a man of honor, integrity, and promise. I pursue all righteousness. I love my family. I will not put my family in harm's way. There is nothing that will keep me from doing the right thing. I am an ambassador of hope and a man of discipline. I am a man worth following. I am a TYRO.
Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Cathy.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina.
And for those of you who do not know who we are, Cathy and I served 15 years in the penal system. Now, I served 15 inside.
And I did it on the outside with our children. But out of that experience,
we've been able to develop a nationally recognized curriculum called TYRO. And TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, warrior.
Or a founding father. And so the TYRO program has really helped people to overcome the obstacles that they face either in poverty or incarceration. And so today we are picking up on our series. We're going to talk more about our series on prioritizing the things that are important to help you transition from inside the walls to home.
Because it's about becoming successful and really learning what you can while you're there. So when you transition outside, you can apply those skills and those principles that you've been able to not only acquire but master while you're in there and make them applicable when you're outside.
And knowing the things that are the most important so that you can make sure you're putting your energy towards things that are actually going to produce that return.
And because we're talking about jobs.
Right. But our last show, we talked about relationships first.
Okay.
And so then the second thing now is jobs.
And so today we're going to have a special guest with us. And we are excited to be able to bring on with us today because his time is very valuable and he is always busy working for you. And that's exactly what he does. He runs the company called TYRO Staffing, and his job is to help navigate relationships with employers, those people who maybe even startup companies, really overcome the barriers and the stigmas that come with if you're a felon.
Right. And so later on in the show, we'll have Joe join us today to talk a little bit about TYRO Staffing and how it can help you. But throughout the show, we're going to talk about the different obstacles that you're going to have to face, the skills that you're going to need to develop in order to become job worthy. There is such a thing as being job worthy because sometimes it's like, okay, we might want a job, but we may not be worthy or ready of getting that employment. And so it's super important that we begin to work on those things right now in our current situation, whatever it is, so that when that opportunity opens, we're ready for it.
And in order to become job worthy, we talk about, are you marketable? Are you in a place, and it doesn't even matter how old you are, are you marketable? And we're going to talk about what does it mean to be marketable? What is the base, the foundation, or as Cathy would say, all about that
base.
It's all about that base. Is attitude. Being marketable is not about your age, it's about your attitude.
And so if you can get that solid foundation of the right attitude, then you will be prepared to overcome every obstacle we're going to talk about today. So as we go through the day and we go through the second part of our series, we did the relationships first, jobs of today. Then next we'll talk about parole and probation.
And then the next one will be finances.
And then finally, how to be an active member and a leader in your community. So stay tuned. You do not want to miss this episode on how to be job worthy.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Cathy.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina. And today we're talking about employment and how important a job is as one of your top priorities as you transition from in prison back home.
You know, every man's dream or thought that he's having inside this experience called penitentiary is, when I get out, what am I going to do to make a living? What am I going to do to pay my bills? What am I going to do to be, you know, getting a job really signifies in a lot of people's hearts and minds that's becoming a man. You know, it does something for men when you're working and you're producing a result and you're able to take care of your business.
Right. And the lie is that just because you're a felon, you can't get a job. And so we hear that often, well, you know, jobs are so hard to find. But the truth is, jobs are hard to find for people that are not job worthy. But if you're job worthy, there are so many jobs available out there. And so in this segment, we really want to talk to you about the obstacles you're going to have to overcome in order to become job worthy so that you can get that job and keep that job.
The first obstacle that you're going to have to overcome is living with a label. You know, in this label, we're talking about ex-felon. You know, you have a prison number, and the first thing they're going to do is they're going to do a background check, and they're going to pull it up and say, boom, you know, and, you know, your application is going to go into that round filing cabinet. And we know what that is, and that's that trash can. They're going to toss it, because the first thing employers do a lot of times, they'll say remove all felons, you know, as the job opening comes around.
They're screening, right?
But we here at TYRO Staffing, you know, and we're really excited about having Joe Jakubowski on this show.
In the next segment.
Talk about really what it takes to overcome the barrier of being an ex-felon. What's it take to set up a reputation? What does it take to overcome the attitude of entitlement?
So just because you're an ex-felon doesn't mean you're doomed, but definitely we want you to recognize the truth is it's a huge obstacle, that it is going to create a lot of closed doors and it's going to create a lot of additional work and effort on your part. But the second thing is experience, and that's either you have a lack of experience to go into the job that you want, or you have a gap of experience that you have to explain on your resume from the time you went into prison to the time you came out. And that can become a huge barrier for you as well.
But it's also, you know, instead of looking at it always as barriers, challenges. You know, you're in there, you have an opportunity to reinvent yourself. Just because you went in one way doesn't mean you're coming out the same way. And so here's an opportunity while you're incarcerated to begin to rethink and to change the way you walk and the way you talk to where you're able to sell yourself. Because if you're really who you say you are, you're going to be exposed to who you really are. If you're not, then they're going to see that too. So we want to encourage you, you can overcome being an ex-felon, you can overcome if you lack the experience, but you just got to know how to activate those other type of principles.
And there may be things that you can get involved in while you're still behind the walls that can create that experience for you so that as you get home, you can say, you know what, I didn't have a job on the streets, but while I was incarcerated and made the best use of my time by learning this trade and learning this skill. And so I do bring to the table experience, and that is super important. And the third one, I skipped one. The third one is references. Do you have people that will vouch for you and your character, your work ethic, as well as your personal character? So we're looking for both professional and personal references. We're talking
about your sphere of influence. You know, who's then there going to support you and be your cheerleader? Who are you winning? Who are you showing that you've changed and you're doing things that are reputable to being a true man of honor, a man worth following? And then the last one is your connections.
Oh, connections. Do not underestimate connections. Because, okay, let's say that you have been working really hard inside and you've gained all kinds of skills and ability. And let's say that you have references, people that will vouch for you. But you're cold calling all of these businesses and you're trying to get your foot in the door as an ex-felon. Connections are so important, and do not minimize those. We're not talking about connections on the street, that, you know, the typical type of gang type connections. We're talking about connections for success. And those connections are relationships you have with people that are successful, that know other people that are successful, that can put in a good word for you, that can vouch for you beyond and deeper than references. Because references are checked after you get your application in and are being considered. A connection gets you in the door.
And that is so huge, because I tell you, in my own experience coming home from prison, you know, surrounding myself with men of honor, men of integrity, and really pushing away people who were trying to hold me back, thinking that they're trying to give me ahead, but really they weren't really for me being successful. They wanted me to, or seen me still as I was before I went to prison, that I was still that same person and that same mentality, that it was all about me, and it was all, you know, I'm doing, if somebody gives me a job, I'm doing them a favor. I really had to flip that whole script even on that person or them people saying, look, I don't do those things no more. I don't walk or talk like that. And so I would surround myself with people who are successful, people who are paying their bills, people who are owning their homes, to where, you know what, how do I get to be like that? How do I get to be taken at my word, even out here?
That's right, because practice makes permanent. So whatever it is you're practicing in there will become part of your character and who you are as you transition out. So it's so important that while you're there and you have time, take advantage of every resource, every connection you have. There are resume building, there are classes on soft skills and hard skills. Look and see what the institution that you're at offers or what institutions you can transfer to get to the skills you need. Take advantage of it because you're not having to worry about transportation or schedules or managing schedules with your family. Right now is a perfect opportunity for you to reinvent yourself so that you're prepared as your foot hits the other side of the gate.
So stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to have Joe Jakubowski with us, and we're going to talk about TYRO Staffing and what his job is to help you navigate the barriers and what his job is to help bring you in front of employers and how you can sell yourself to them. So stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you are not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy TYRO's own personal experience with incarceration. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You will be prepared to overcome the obstacles of your incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You'll be one of the honored, a man worth following.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina. And today we're talking about employment and how important employment is as being one of your priorities as you transition from inside to outside successfully.
And today we have a great special guest with us today. And we are excited to have Joe Jakubowski with us, who is actually championing the TYRO Staffing company that here at the Ridge Project that we have.
Right. In our last segment, we talked about the obstacles that you have to overcome. And so we told you in this segment, we're going to talk to you about some ways to overcome some of those obstacles and primarily connections, because connections are so important.
And we really want to devote this time to asking Joe certain questions and really getting an understanding. What is it that employers are looking for? What does it take to become marketable? What does it take to become job worthy?
And so, Joe, welcome to TYRO TV.
Thank you.
Can you just tell the guys a little bit about what TYRO Staffing is, what you do, and how you can help?
Yes, so TYRO Staffing is a staffing agency. We work with employers really all around Ohio and just connecting with them to give guys who go through our staffing agency employment opportunities. And that's essentially what it is.
So do you only work with ex-felons?
No, but we also work with the general population, but yes, ex-felons are a part of that demographic and population.
So how hard is it to get an ex-felon? I mean, you got a guy coming out of prison, he's got maybe 1 or 2 prison numbers, and he needs a job because he's got kids. So what type of selling pitch do you give to get a guy like that a job?
Sure. Well, guys that are coming out of prison, ex-offenders, what they need is someone to vouch for them. Someone that will co-sign for them. And TYRO Staffing, what we do is we work with employers, and employers want men worth following, men worth hiring. And so when we go to them and they know the TYRO name and they know TYRO Staffing, they know that the people that we put through that agency, the men, will be men worth following because we vouch for them. We have that reputation. And so a guy that's coming out of prison, the reason he really wants to be with us and sign up with us is because we can co-sign for him when he goes to our agency. And so that's one of the big things that they can do when they come out is sign up with us.
So do they have to take the TYRO program while they're inside in order to be able to qualify to be part of TYRO
Right.
Staffing?
Great question. So there's two bridges. One is if you're already a TYRO, you've already been pinned, then you can sign up with us. But if you haven't been pinned, that's okay as well, because if you sign up for us and you get through our 2-day pre-hire training and you get placed with the company, we will actually deliver and train you in TYRO as you are being placed. So not only are we offering a cosign, we're also offering job coaching, mentoring, and going through our TYRO program, teaching you how to be a man worth following and a man worth hiring.
Well, this is exciting. So what you're doing is a wraparound service that you're giving this type of, and for lack of a better phrase, but intense case management to really help build that foundation for when these guys come home, or if they're already home and they're trying to reestablish themselves as a man worth following, not only for their family, but for their community, by getting a great job or getting maybe a new career and helping them establish themselves in a world that is high in demand and just pulverizing people that don't have these type of skills.
So Joe,
Exactly.
do a comparison for me, like a guy that is just out there and he's cold calling by himself, getting into companies, versus somebody that comes through, say, TYRO Staffing.
Yeah, I mean, a guy that just gets out of prison that is cold calling companies, he's going to have a really, really rough time getting into companies because of that record. As soon as they find out, companies are not going to want to hire him. But if they go through our staffing agency and they get employment through us, they won't have to worry about that, because the employers will trust that we will co-sign for that person. And because of that trust, because of that sponsorship by us, a job seeker, someone coming out of prison, will be that much more likely to get a job through us.
Okay, so you talked about that, okay, so anybody can come, TYRO or not TYRO. And so they come and they sign up, they fill out an application, then they go through a 2-day pre-hire training.
Yes.
So what's that?
The 2-day pre-hire training is something that we use to really train guys in job ethics training, how to get a job, how to keep a job, what success really is, and make sure it's worth getting. Not only that, though, but it also helps us to select out the job seekers who aren't that serious about getting a job. Because if someone's willing to stay there for 2 days, for 2 full days unpaid, that shows us, that tells us that they're ready to get a job and keep it. And so that also, it works for 2 functions.
That's good. I understand too that as you're doing this 2-day seminar, that at times employers will come in and watch this being delivered, and so they're watching the response of the students as they're getting this, what we call TYRO JET, TYRO Job Ethics Training, that the interview process has already begun.
Yes, you're always on interview. You're always being interviewed, and yes, actually, we had a recent job ethics training a few months ago, or actually a few weeks ago, and the employer actually came and to observe the job seekers and the candidates, and so you're always being interviewed by us and by the employer.
Wow! So they could show up at any time. You tell them where it is and all this type of stuff, and that is phenomenal. That giving these guys an opportunity to really start afresh.
Yes.
A clean slate.
And building those connections and references, which we talked about earlier, is so important. So as you think about job readiness and you think about being job worthy, remember that as you transition home, it's super important to make those connections to people that can actually help you achieve your goals.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back to finish out this segment. And so thank you, Joe, for coming on and being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Joe. We'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina.
And today we're talking about J-O-B, the big job. You know, and what it takes to become employable, what it takes to be marketable, and what it takes to overcome all these barriers. And the first barrier we talked about was being an ex-felon. But this segment, we want to talk about family and what it means to not only be marketable and employable, how does it affect your family?
Right, because sometimes we don't realize that when we're not employed or when we are unemployed but employed, which means that we're going to work, but really we're not employing all of our skills there, how that affects or infects our kids and our family. And so we really want to make sure that you are paying attention to that, because what's going to happen is as you overcome all those 4 barriers we talked about, being an ex-felon, maybe lacking experience or gaps in experience, getting references or maybe not having references, and then building those connections to get your foot in the door to get that first job. Your best day on that first job is probably going to be your first day. And we're not saying that your first job is going to be your dream job. And so what we really want you to focus in on is understanding how important your attitude is. Remember, that's the foundation upon which you're going to build your economic and employment success, is your attitude. What your attitude is not just setting the course for your employment, but also setting the course for your children and their future success.
You know, our children are watching us to see how we handle disappointments, how we handle rejection, how we handle triumph, how we handle victories, how we
handle the mundane
or
the difficult.
You know, and they're watching you every single moment of your day, of your life, because how you respond or how you react, guess what they're going to do? They're going to react and respond the same way. So if you get a job and then you're doing that employer a favor because you showed up on time, you know, that's how they're going to carry their life when they go into becoming an adult or a grown-up. Or
maybe not even then. It could be that as they go to school, hey, I'm doing you a favor, I'm showing up to school, instead of, you know what, I may not like school or I may not like that teacher, but I'm here and I'm going to learn everything I can so that I can move forward to the next level. And that's how you need to look at your first job. Right. It's not that job is going to be the job you're going to stay at for the rest of your life.
But it's a stepping stone to help you practice the principles of what it means to be a TYRO or a man worth following, where you're practicing showing up on time. You're practicing doing the jobs that nobody else wants to do at that particular place. But you're doing the job and then some. You know, and
remembering it's all about that base, that attitude of success.
Attitude is victory in everything that you do. If you have a great attitude, somebody's watching and somebody's going to be picking up on that. And those are the people who get promoted. Those are the people who get asked to work overtime. Those are the people who are self-motivators.
Those are the people that are the last ones laid off, the first ones called back, or if something does happen to your organization, those are the people that get the first job somewhere else. And so as you develop your plan of employment, be realistic in your expectations. Begin thinking about, okay, well, I'm probably going to start out with this job because maybe I lack the experience, going back to that. So we've got an opportunity to go an entry-level position, which isn't really what I want, but I don't have the experience to get what I want. While I'm working this job, I can also intern somewhere. I can also connect with somebody else.
You can also volunteer somewhere. You know, this is not going to be easy. You know, we're not sugarcoating this at all. Look, you have a record, you are a felon, and society, and this is just what it is, doesn't want you. So you got to be able to already deal with that, because now your children are affected or infected by the way you respond or react to rejection.
And I'm going to tell you right now, what sets the tone for your true reputation is not how you are when you arrive at your dream or your destination. It's your attitude and behavior on your journey towards it. So in the midst of the most difficult circumstances where you're hearing no, 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 you're being turned down everywhere you go, or you're being offered a job and you're starting a job you really don't want, but something we promise you is better than nothing. Your attitude in that, people are watching. And they're not people that are saying, hey, I'm watching you. They're people that are just quietly watching you. Maybe they're thinking, you know what? I'm going to hire him because I really want to have an assistant manager someday. Let's see how he does in this job. And if he does well, I can promote him.
And with that mindset, you're always on the continuous improvement plan. When you know you're always being watched, that no matter where you're at, because how long are you on probation for, guys? For life. So if you have that mindset or that attitude that you're always being watched and you're on this self-improvement plan, which we call here at the Ridge Project Kaizen, which means changing for the better. Every opportunity you get is an opportunity to become better, not bitter.
And how does that impact your kids?
it encourages them to know that no matter what happens to them in life, they too can always have victory. You know, and this is a tough one to hear too. Failure has got to be an option. You know, you're going to get a job, and it might not be the job of your dreams, but it's okay because you're growing in that job. And say you go and it didn't work out, okay? You know, things happen. But don't let that determine your future. Overcome that challenge. See it as a challenge and overcome it for something better.
And then as you persevere and as you work hard and continue to learn, then your children are going to see that hard work is producing a profit. It's producing a profit in your self-esteem, in your self-worth, in your reputation. It's going to produce pride in them as they look to you, Dad, and see that you are a man worth following, that you're willing to work hard and do whatever it takes in order to become successful and set a tone for them and their future as well.
Every day is an opportunity to reinvent yourself. Every day is an opportunity to create your dream life for you and your family, but to make it a reality. You know, and that takes hard work, as Cathy's saying, perseverance, determination. Nothing is going to be handed to you or given to you, but as a TYRO, you can do it.
So when we come back, we're going to give you some practical tips on things that you can begin working on right now so that as you transition home, you will be employment ready. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Completion of TYRO Dads is just the beginning of the opportunities available to you. As a TYRO Dad, you will be eligible to participate in workforce strengthening services to help prepare you for employment and open the doors to economic stability for you and your family. The Workforce Strengthening Program starts with job ethics training. Once completed, you may be eligible to receive training to acquire your commercial driver's license while still inside prison. If getting a CDL is not for you, then there is also a welding training program you may be eligible for. As more programs are being added, there really is something for almost everyone.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina.
And we want to thank Joe one more time for being on the show with us. We know he's really busy, and we hope he was able to give you some insight to help you become more successful when you hit the streets.
Because today we're talking about jobs as part of our 6-part series on what it takes to be successful and prioritizing the things that you need to do in order to be successful in your transition. We talked about on our last show, we talked about relationships. This show, we've talked about jobs.
And what it means to become employable, marketable, job ready, job worthy, you know, and being a father and building a new legacy for your family, and what it means for your children to see the new man you become and the person that is worth following.
And the 4 things that you're going to have to overcome. First of all, your label of ex-felon. Second of all, your lack of experience or gaps in experience. The third thing is references and making sure that you've got references that are current, not somebody, well, I knew him 20 years ago before he went to prison. And the fourth thing is actual connections, people that can actually get you in the door.
Remember, it's about attitude. You know, you might have some great skill, but if your attitude sucks, you're not going to stay there. Your skill might get you somewhere, but it's going to be your character that keeps you there. And Cathy talked about connectedness. Here at the Ridge Project, we have a lot of partners with a lot of great insights to help people overcome. We got companies that offer clothing. We got agencies that help you with job resumes. You know, so if you need that assistance, we can help.
We've got TYRO Job Ethics Training, and of course TYRO Staffing. But we are not the only ones in your corner. Look around and see what resources are available to you right now in the institution you're at. Take advantage of every one of those because you're going to need everything on your side as you transition home and begin the job hunt.
So remember, nobody owes us anything. Nobody owes you anything. But there's so many things out there that if you work hard for, you can acquire them. You can get people to co-sign for you. You can get people, if you're that person that they can vouch for, if you're a TYRO, we want to vouch for you. We want to help you.
So many employers saying, just send me some good people. So if you are job worthy, getting a job will be easy. I promise you. Then when the job is going to become hard and you're not going to be able to get a job is when you're not job worthy, when you decide that the job you want is a professional job that you're not prepared for. Be willing to start at the bottom and work up, and I promise you, you're going to find success. Now, as we close out today's session on jobs, remember that as we come back with our next show, we're going to be talking about how to navigate a successful relationship with your parole officer or your probation officer. Then we'll be with finances and earning credit, and finally, how to become a leader in your community.
So you don't want to miss what's coming next, because I tell you right now, it's going to help change the course of your life. If you apply these principles, we guarantee you success from inside the penitentiary to outside. Here at the Ridge Project, we're about helping you become a better father for your family and the legacy you want to build. So stay tuned. Until next time, always remember, we are rooting for you.
I am a man of honor.
I am a man of integrity.
I am a man of faith. I am the antidote.
I am a man of discipline. I am a leader.
I am strong.
I am a man worth following.
I am a TYRO.